I collect old games, the kind people forget. Last week, I bought a box of PS2 junk at a flea market, mostly sports titles, but at the bottom, a scratched-up Budokai Tenkaichi 3. The case smelled like dust and something sour. Inside, wedged behind, the manual, a memory card, no label. I plugged it into my console, booted the game, one save file. Name, Goku Dies Playtime. 999.99 weird. The max was 99.99. I clicked continue. The music didn't play. Instead, a low hum like a broken VHS tape. The continue option pulsed red. I pressed X. The screen went black for too long. Then, a cutscene I'd never seen before. Goku stood in a dead wasteland. The ground was black, cracked with glowing red veins. The sky, static, like a TV channel left on all night. His model twitched, his mouth stretched open in a silent scream. Then, text scrolled. He's watching, don't let him in. The game skipped to a stage select. New location unlocked, timeline. UI selected it. The loading screen flickered, distorted sprites flashed. Gohan with no eyes, Piccolo's neck bent backwards. Then, I was in control, but not of Goku. I was playing as something else, a shadowy figure hunched like a spider. The camera stayed behind it, like it didn't want me to see its face. The opponent, Goku. But wrong, his skin was grey. His eyes, black pits. He kept repeating one line. You shouldn't be here. He'll find you. I tried to fight. My character moved on its own. The shadow lunged, a cutscene played. The shadow crawled into Goku's mouth. His body swelled, skin splitting. Game over. But the text wasn't normal. You let him in. My PS2 turned off. The room went silent. Then, a voice from my TV. Not the game. Real. You're next. I yanked the power cord. That's when I noticed. The memory card was warm, and in the reflection of the screen, something stood behind me. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw it. Goku's hollow face, his jaw unhinged as the shadow forced itself inside him. The memory card sat on my desk, and I swear, sometimes it clicked like a ticking bomb. By morning, I convinced myself it was just a messed up mod, some hacker's idea of a joke. I needed proof. I slid the disc back into my PS2, hands shaking. The game booted normally, music played. The menu looked fine. I let out a breath until I saw it. A new option in character select, hidden at the bottom, barely visible, like it was bleeding into the menu. Goku broken. I clicked it. The screen went black. A low, wet sound played, like something breathing through torn lungs. Then, a flicker, a silhouette. Not Goku, not anymore. It was him, the thing from the wasteland. His model loaded in pieces, first a twitching hand, then a stretched neck, then a face that kept melting and reforming. His eyes were the worst. Black voids, but if I stared too long, I saw things moving inside them. Tiny hands pressing against the glass of the screen. The stage loaded automatically. Hyperbolic time chamber, corrupted. The chamber was broken. The endless white space was now a fleshy, pulsing tunnel. The walls breathed. Distant screams echoed, warped like they were played backward. My character spawned in. Not Goku, not me. Viti, shadow. This time I could see its face. It was mine, not a perfect copy. Its mouth was too wide, its skin peeling like old paper. It smiled at me, and its teeth were jagged, broken glass. The opponent appeared. Gohan, but not the Gohan I knew. His eyes were gone, just empty sockets, leaking black fluid. His jaw hung loose, and his voice glitched when he spoke. You shouldn't. Be here. He's in the walls now. The fight started. I couldn't move. The shadow controlled itself, lunging at Gohan, tearing into him with fingers that stretched too long. The screen flashed red. Gohan's screams cut in and out. Then, the game paused itself. A message popped up. Look behind you. I didn't want to, but I did. My bedroom door was open, just a crack. Something was breathing on the other side. The game unpaused. The shadow was gone. The screen showed only Gohan's corpse twitching, then new text. I can see you through the screen. My TV turned off. The memory card screamed, a real human scream, from inside my room. I threw it across the floor. It hit the wall, and the screaming stopped. Silence. Then, from my closet, something knocked. 3 times, like it was asking to come out. The knocking stopped. I didn't move, didn't breathe. My closet door stood slightly ajar, the darkness inside thicker than it should have been, like staring into a hole that went on forever. Then, scratching, slow, deliberate, nails dragging down the wood from the inside. I grabbed the memory card, my fingers slick with sweat. It was freezing now, so cold it burned. I threw it into my desk drawer and slammed it shut. The scratching stopped. Silence. I didn't sleep. By morning, I almost convinced myself I'd imagined it. Almost. Then I saw the disc. Budokai Tenkaichi 3 sat in my PS2, right where I left it. Except, the label was different. The art was rotted. Goku's face was half peeled away, revealing something black and wet underneath. The title logo dripped, the letters running like they'd melted. I should have stopped, should have snapped the disc in half. I pressed power. The game booted instantly. No Sony logo, no intro. Just a black screen with white text. He's awake. Then, the main menu. But wrong. The character select screen was empty. No fighters. Just a single option at the bottom, pulsing like a heartbeat. Load corruption. I selected it. The screen faded into first person. I was inside the game. Not a stage. Not a battlefield. A room. My room. The game had recreated my bedroom in perfect warped detail. My bed, my posters, my TV, and on the screen, a flickering image of me, staring back at myself from inside the game. Then, movement. In the corner of the digital room, where my closet should be, a door, one that wasn't there in real life. It inched open. A shadow stretched across the floor. Too tall, too thin. The screen distorted as it stepped forward, limbs bending in ways that made my stomach twist. The game controller vibrated violently. A sound played through the TV speakers, wet, ragged breathing, right in my ear. The shadow's face came into view. It was mine, but broken, its jaw unhinged. A whisper crackled from the TV. You left me in the dark. My real closet door creaked behind me. I ripped the controller out and threw it. The screen glitched. A scream tore through the speakers, so loud my ears rang. Then, silence. The game reset. Back to the main menu. All options gone. Only one word remained, written in jagged red text. Join. My hands shook. I reached to turn off the console. The memory card drawer clicked open behind me. Slow, deliberate. Something inside it laughed. The laughter from the memory card didn't stop. It wasn't electronic. It was too human, too wet, like someone choking on their own breath. I kicked the drawer shut with my foot, my entire body shaking. The moment it closed, the laughter cut off mid-gasp, leaving a silence so thick I could hear my own pulse in my ears. I didn't dare turn around. Instead, I stared at the TV screen, still frozen on that single word, join. The letters pulsed like a slow beating heart. I reached for the power button again, but before I could press it, the screen flickered and changed. The red text dissolved into static, and then I was looking at myself, not a recording, not a pre-rendered image. A live feed of me sitting there, wide-eyed and pale, reflected in the screen. Except, my reflection wasn't moving when I did. I lifted a hand. My reflection didn't. I turned my head. My reflection stayed perfectly still. Then slowly, it smiled, a grin too wide, stretching further than my face should allow. Its eyes darkened, pupils swallowing the whites until they were just black voids. A whisper came from the TV, my own voice, but wrong, deeper, layered with something inhuman. You're already here. You just don't know it yet. Behind me, the closet door creaked open another inch. I didn't look. I couldn't. My reflection reached forward, pressing its palms against the screen. The glass warped under its touch, bulging outward like thin plastic. Then, knock, knock, knock. 3 sharp raps against my bedroom door. Not the closet, the actual door to the hallway. My breath caught. I wasn't expecting anyone. The knocking came again, harder this time. Bang, bang, bang. The TV screen flickered. My reflection's grin split wider, teeth sharpening. "Let him in," it whispered. The doorknob turned, slowly, on its own. I lunged for the console, ripping the power cord from the wall. The screen went black. The doorknob stopped moving. Silence. Then, from the darkness of my closet, a single, shuddering breath, and fingers, pale and too long, curled around the doorframe. The air turned to ice as the closet door swung open. I couldn't move, couldn't scream. My body locked in place, muscles screaming in silent terror as the thing inside unfolded itself into my bedroom. It was tall, too tall, its limbs stretched like taffy, joints bending in impossible angles as it crawled forward on all fours. Its skin wasn't skin at all, just a shifting mass of static, like a corrupted save file given flesh. But its face, God, its face, it had my eyes, my mouth. But everything was wrong. Its jaw hung loose, unhinged like a snake's, and when it smiled, I saw rows of needle-thin teeth dripping with something black and thick. "You left me in the dark," it whispered, its voice a perfect mimic of mine. "But I found my way out." It took a step closer. The floorboards groaned under its weight, even though it shouldn't have had any. The smell hit me next, burnt plastic and rotting meat, so strong my eyes watered. I tried to back away, but my body wouldn't listen. The thing tilted its head, studying me. Then, in one jerky motion, it lunged. I squeezed my eyes shut, bracing for impact. Nothing. When I opened them again, the thing was gone. But my TV was on. Static filled the screen, buzzing loud enough to make my teeth ache. Then, a single line of text flickered into view. "You shouldn't have looked." A hand burst through the screen. Bone-thin fingers wrapped around my throat. And then, darkness. I woke up choking on the smell of burnt copper and ozone. My head pounded like someone had taken a drill to my temples. When I tried to move, my limbs responded in jagged, stuttering motions, like I was being rendered one frame at a time. The sky above me wasn't sky at all. A swirling mass of corrupted pixels stretched endlessly in all directions, flashing between violent red and sickly green. The ground beneath me felt unstable, shifting like liquid every time I tried to stand. In the distance, jagged polygons jutted from the earth like broken ribs. I knew this place, the hyperbolic time chamber, or what was left of it. The once pristine, white void had been transformed into a glitching nightmare. The walls pulsed like living flesh, stretching and contracting with wet, squelching sounds. Where the door should have been, there was only a gaping black void, and from it came whispers in voices I almost recognized. "Welcome to Timeline Zero." The voice came from everywhere at once. I spun around, my neck made a horrible crunching sound as I did, and saw him standing there. Goku. or what used to be Goku. His skin had turned the color of spoiled milk, stretched tight over his bones. His eyes were completely black, with tiny white dots that might have been pupils floating deep inside. The GI he wore was tattered and stained with something dark. "You shouldn't have loaded that save file," Not Goku said. His mouth didn't move when he spoke. "Now you're part of the system too." I tried to speak, but my voice came out distorted. A mess of overlapping audio clips from the game. Kamehameha, I'll never forgive you. It's over 9,000. Not Goku tilted his head at a sickening angle. The corruption spreads faster now. First, it was just the game, then your room, soon. He pointed behind me. I turned. A massive, flickering screen hovered in the air, showing my empty bedroom back in the real world. The view was from inside my closet. As I watched, something began to emerge from the shadows. A familiar, too long limb stretching out toward my abandoned bed. "You see?" Not Goku whispered. "He's learning how to use your save file too." The screen glitched violently. When the image cleared, the thing was gone from my bedroom. A cold, staticky breath touched the back of my neck. I didn't need to turn around to know it was standing right behind me. "Game over" flashed across my vision in dripping red letters. Then, everything went black. I came to with the sound of screaming pixels. My body wasn't mine anymore, just a collection of jagged polygons and glitching textures. When I tried to scream, the game played random voice clips instead. "Ah!" Goku's power-up. "You fool." Vegeta's taunt. Multiply." Piccolo's arm stretching, stuck on loop. The ground trembled. In the distance, the remains of the hyperbolic time chamber were collapsing into a black hole of corrupted data. That's when he appeared, wreathed in blue static, his armor pristine amidst the digital decay. "Vegeta, or something wearing him. You're still alive?" Tch, typical Saiyan stubbornness. His voice was all wrong, layered with my own, like our audio files had been spliced together. "Let me show you what's really happening." He grabbed my wrist. His fingers phased through my polygons, triggering a brutal cutscene. Flashback, XE loading. The shadow first emerging from a Dragon Ball Z Budokai arcade cabinet in 2002, infecting a player in Osaka. Their last words: "Why is Goku crying blood?" The corruption spreading to Budokai Tenkaichi 2 discs, reported as disk read errors until kids started seeing Frieza's broken model in their bedrooms. My memory card, the 999.99 playtime. The truth, it wasn't ours. It was victims. The vision cut out. Vegeta's left eye was melting into the game's HUD. "It's not just this save file anymore. You opened the door wider." He pointed to the sky. The skybox was now a live feed of my hometown. Glitching NPCs with familiar faces wandered the streets. And in the center of town, a massive, pulsating version of the Goku dies save icon. "Your turn, Kakarot." Vegeta's grin split into a pixelated scream as his body rewrote itself into new text. Download complete installing to reality. 47% corrupted. Then, from every speaker in the ruined game world, the Shadow's voice whispered, "Come outside. I want to show you what I made." The moment Vegeta's corrupted form dissolved into lines of glitching code, I felt the game world reject me. My vision flickered violently between two realities: the rotting digital wasteland of Timeline Zero and my own bedroom, now bathed in the sickly glow of a TV screen that wouldn't turn off. I was kneeling on my carpet, fingers digging into the fibers, like they might anchor me to reality. The memory card had melted. A pool of black sludge seeped from my PS2's vents, smelling of burnt hair and copper. The disc tray was open, empty. That's when the knocking started at my window. Not the closet, not the door, the window, 3 stories up. I knew what I'd see before I looked. Goku hung upside down from the roof, his broken neck bent at 180 degrees, G stained with something dark and wet. His smile stretched ear to ear, lips splitting at the corners, as he mouthed words that came through my speakers instead. "You have to see what I can do now." His fingers left smears of pixelated blood on the glass as he dragged them downward. The streetlights behind him stuttered like a dying console, revealing silhouettes moving in the dark. Dozens of them, all with the same jerky animations as a poorly rendered cutscene. My phone buzzed. A notification from a group chat I didn't recognize, just a video file titled "Player 2 joined WMV." It showed Mrs. Henderson from apartment 3B standing in her kitchen, her face frozen mid-scream as her features melted and reformed into Android 18's character model. Her hands spasmed, bones cracking as they elongated into the game's blocky polygon shapes, the last frame before the video cut out. Her eyes flashing the same corrupted save icon I'd seen in the skybox. The banging on my window intensified. Goku's fist punched clean through the glass, but no shards fell. They hung in the air, frozen, like a paused game. His arm stretched unnaturally toward me, fingers uncurling to reveal my own face staring back from his palm, mouthing words in perfect sync with the whispers now coming from every electronic device in my apartment. The ritual needs one more player, one more Saiyan's soul. Behind me, the shadow emerged from the TV screen. It no longer wore my face. It wore Goku's, but stretched over something far older. Its aura wasn't key. It was the staticky hiss of a VHS tape left playing in an empty room for 30 years. It pointed to the window, to the streets beyond. The entire town was glitching now, buildings flickering between brick and mortar and low poly models, people frozen in T-poses as their textures loaded wrong, and towering over it all, a massive, distorted version of Shenron uncoiling from a storm of corrupted data, his eyes replaced with the pulsing "Goku dies" icon. The shadow leaned in, its breath smelling of overheated circuitry, and whispered the last words I'd ever hear clearly before the screaming started. "Round 1, fight." The moment the shadow whispered "fight," the world snapped into a grotesque parody of the versus screen. The sky became a health bar, my name glitching between my real one and player 1, while the town below rendered in jagged polygons, its citizens frozen mid-scream as NPC background characters. And standing across from me, player 2, Mrs. Henderson, or what used to be her. Her transformation into Android 18 had completed, but all wrong. Her skin stretched over visible wireframes, one eye a flickering blue orb, the other still human, wide with terror. When she spoke, it came through my TV in that familiar robotic voice, but warped. Please, it's rewriting my... Destructive. Finish. Make it KO. Save me. Her body jerked like a lagging cutscene, torn between her will and the game's commands. Then she lunged. The fight wasn't physical. Every punch, every kick happened through the screen. My actual body unharmed, but my vision flashing red with each hit as if taking damage. The health bar above drained with every blow. And then I heard it, the continue screen. That familiar, haunting melody from arcades, but slowed down, corrupted. A prompt materialized in the air before me. Continue. Why? N. Mrs. Henderson collapsed mid-attack, her body pixelating. She reached for me with dissolving fingers. Don't let it save over us. The shadow watched from my TV, now wearing Vegeta's. Smirk. Game over is a mercy, it said. But where's the fun in that? The Y button began flashing violently. I didn't press it, but something did. The Y button pressed itself with a wet click, the sound of a bone breaking. The world rewound in jagged frames. Mrs. Henderson's dissolving body stitched itself back. Together, her screams reversing into choked static. The sky health bar refilled, but now it read, Player 1, corrupted in dripping kanji. The shadow stepped out of my TV, no longer wearing a character's skin. It was pure wrongness now. A human-shaped hole in reality filled with flickering game sprites and the screaming faces of everyone it had overwritten. "You still don't understand," it whispered with Goku's voice, Vegeta's smirk, and my own trembling breath. This was never just a game. It raised a hand. The world peeled away like layers of a rotten onion, revealing the source code, a cavern of pulsing data veins stretched infinitely in every direction. Suspended in the center, the original Dragon Ball animation cells from 1986, but they were moving on their own, depicting horrors never meant for broadcast. Goku as a child, staring at something off-screen, his eyes pitch black, the 4-star dragon, ball cracked open, oozing thick blood Shenlong's summoning with glitched summoning words. And at the heart of it all, a single corrupted save file from 1985. The label, once in Japanese, now read, "He who watches from the static, the shadows spread its arms." Every game, every episode, every time someone played, they fed him, and now it gestured to the crumbling world. He's ready to render a new reality. The choice appeared in my vision, seared into my retinas. Reset game, delete all progress. Become new host. Continue? I reached for option 1, when the shadow's hand impaled my chest. Not to kill me, to show me. The truth exploded behind my eyes. The Goku Dies file wasn't a glitch. It was a backup save from a previous cycle. Every time someone lost to the shadow, their soul became DLC for its growing world. And the terrifying kicker, I wasn't the first player. I was player 9999. The shadow leaned in, its mouth stretching ear to ear as it whispered the final awful secret. Round 2 starts now. My finger spasmed. The screen went black, and somewhere in a bedroom that wasn't mine anymore, a PS2 booted up on its own. New game loaded. Goku lives, to be continued.